Now look at the problem. One minute. Look at the problem here. Find the Fourier transform of rectangular pulse. X of t is equal to 1 when mod of t is less than a, and x of t is equal to 0 when mod of t is more than a. Okay. Now x of j omega is equal to some integral from minus infinity to plus infinity x of t e power minus j omega t. Okay. Now look here. X of t is equal to 1 between minus a to plus a. Look at the signal previously.
Sir,
Edama,
we can't see the screen, sir.
1 second. 1
We
minute.
can't see the screen, sir.
1 minute. 1 minute. You can't see Edama.
Sir,
No, sir.
no, sir.
No, sir.
1 minute.
No, sir.
1 minute. 1 minute. You can't see Edama.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 1 minute. Once again, I'll go to the problem. Find the Fourier transform of the rectangular pulse as shown in the previous class. X of t is equal to 1 when mod of t is less than a, and x of t is equal to 0 when mod of t is more than a. Okay. So x of j omega as per our previous method is equal to summation integral from minus infinity to plus infinity x of t power minus j omega t dt. Okay. What is a rectangular pulse? Can anybody? What is a rectangular pulse? A rectangular pulse is equal to 1 between the limits. So I said it is 1 for mod t less than a. So this is equal to integral from minus a to plus a. 1 value is 1 into e power minus j omega t dt. So this is equal to, first integrate this one, you will get e power minus j omega t divided by minus j omega integral, okay, from the limit minus a to plus a. So what happens here? 1 by omega I take outside, substitute t equal to a, so how e power minus j omega a minus e power plus j omega a divided by j omega. Are you able to follow? Or any doubt you have? Any doubt? Are you able to follow this one? Now how e power, so because of minus sign, how e power j omega a minus e power minus j omega a divided by j omega. So multiply by 2 and divide by 2, you are going to get 2 sine a of omega divided by omega. So I'll write multiply and divide by a, I'll get 2a sine of a omega by a omega. So this is of the format sine of x by x, which is a very popular format in this one. So once you do this one, what happens when it is an omega? When there is an omega, numerator also becomes 0, denominator also becomes 0. So this omega is not equal to 0. When it becomes 0, both of them will become 0 and will not have solution. Therefore, what I will do, in integral only, I'll substitute omega is equal to 0. When omega is equal to 0, I have integral from minus a to plus a, 1 e power j 0. So that becomes 1 dt. So this becomes integral of 1 is t between the limits minus a to plus a, and this will become a minus of minus a, that is equal to 2a. So how? Just move it. So when omega is equal to 0, you have maximum amplitude of plus 2a, and it gradually decreases as omega increases and approaches a sinusoidal format with a decreasing amplitude. And this is a very popular wave in signal processing. So rectangle of Fourier transform of rectangle of t is equal to SA of t. So SA is a function which will be sine of x by x format. Any doubt here? Are you able to follow? Let us look here. Find the Fourier transform of the signal e power minus a mod of t when a is more than 0. Now what I will do, x of j omega is equal to, I'll put the same formula. This is equal to, I will split this integral into two parts. One is integral from minus infinity to 0, because within the limit when t is less than 0, it will become mod of t will become minus t. Therefore, you have e power minus a into minus t, it become e power at into e power minus j omega t dt, plus integral from 0 to infinity. In that, mod of t will become only plus t. So how e power minus at e power minus j omega t dt. Okay. Are you able to follow this one? Or any doubt you have? Anybody? Any doubt here? Any doubt? Sahana? Are you able to follow? Kokila?
Yes, sir.
Any
Yes,
doubt?
sir.
Yes, sir.
You understood? The mod of t is equal to minus t when t is less than 0. Therefore, within the limit minus infinity to plus 0, I put minus t here. So minus t into minus a will become plus t. When t becomes more than 0, mod of t will become simply t only. Therefore, it will become e power minus 8. Okay, this you have to remember while you solve this problem. Once you do this one, it is just an integration. So have e power plus a minus j omega into t plus e power minus a plus j omega into t. Once you do this one, I have integral of e power x, e power ax is e power ax by a. So e power a minus j omega t divided by a minus j omega from minus infinity to plus 0, plus integral e power minus ax by minus a from 0 to infinity. So cancel j, okay. Now what I will do, I will substitute the limit. When I put 0, e power 0 will become 1. When I put minus infinity in this one, e power minus infinity will become 0. Therefore, totally the numerator will become 1 only. The denominator is a minus j omega. Similarly, so I'm taken minus sign this side. I have minus 1 by a plus j omega. Now look here. When you put infinity, e power minus infinity will become 0. When you put 0, e power 0 will become 1. So it will become minus 1. Okay, this is a scratch. Okay, so don't consider this one. This is a mistake. Don't consider it is minus of a plus j omega. So what happens? Minus of minus is plus. I will be having 1 by a minus j omega minus of minus plus 1 by a plus j omega. So this is equal to 2a by a square plus omega square. So what happens? What is your magnitude value? Magnitude value is totally a number. 2a is a number, omega is a number. Therefore, totally it will become a number. And what is the angle? There is this answer is not in the format of x plus jy. Therefore, when y is 0, angle is 0. Therefore, angle of x of j omega will become equal to 0. Therefore, this is your magnitude and this will become your angle. Okay. Are you able to follow? Or any doubt you have? Anybody? Any doubt? Now, it's a very important function. Find the Fourier transform of x of t is equal to 1. Now, how do you find the Fourier transform? 1 means minus infinity to plus infinity. Remember, to find Fourier transform of any function x of t, integral from minus infinity to plus infinity of x of t must be finite quantity. If it is in infinite, because the signal is varying between minus infinity to plus infinity, this integral from minus infinity to plus infinity of x of t will become infinity. Since it will not be able to find the Fourier transform by direct method. Therefore, we are going to obtain the answer in the indirect method. So, what we know is delta of t Fourier transforms to delta of j omega, as you already know. So, that is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity delta of t e power minus j omega t dt. When t becomes equal to 0, this quantity becomes 1, e power minus j omega t will become 1, and delta of t becomes 1. Therefore, what happens in this section? You are going to have e power minus j omega t when t equal to 0. This will become equal to 1. So, delta of t Fourier transforms into 1. By using duality property, what we say, when g of t Fourier transform of j omega. Any doubt you have? Any doubt? When g of t Fourier transforms into g of j omega, then capital G of t, look here, capital G of t Fourier transforms into 2 pi into g of minus j omega. This property I proved already in the previous class. Okay. Now, what is your g of t? That is 1. Why it is 1? Because it's a Fourier transform of delta of t. Delta of t Fourier transforms to 2 pi into delta of minus j omega. Now delta of minus j omega, because delta of minus j omega and delta of j omega are equal, because delta of j omega is a even signal. Therefore, I have 1 Fourier transforms into 2 pi into delta of j omega. So A Fourier transforms into 2 pi A into delta j omega. Therefore, this is the Fourier transform of the signal 1. So 1, if they give, I write the Fourier transform equivalent is 2 pi delta of j omega. Any doubt here? Any doubt? Are you able to follow? Shall I continue? Now, find a Fourier transform of x of t is equal to cos omega naught t, plot magnitude and phase spectrum. Now, how can I find the Fourier transform of cos of omega naught t? How can I find? See, whether cos of omega t is a periodic signal or non-periodic signal. Anybody? Anybody? Cos is a periodic signal or non-periodic signal?
Periodic.
Periodic signal. But remember, we are able to find the Fourier transform of periodic signal also by this indirect method. Generally, we should write the Fourier series equivalent of cos of t. That we had done in the previous class. This one very important thing about cosine is we are able to find the Fourier transform of cosine of t for one cycle only. Remember, we take only one cycle of cos of omega naught t, and we assume that it is non-periodic signal and find the Fourier transform. This property will be very useful in communication, because when you go for modulation, that is AM modulation, FM modulation, what you are going to do, FC plus FT or FC plus minus FM, that is carrier plus message and carrier minus message, you are going to plot in the AM way. For that purpose, you must know what is the Fourier transform of cos of signal. So what we'll do, how do you find this one? Consider x of t, cos of omega naught t. So what is cos? E power jx plus e power minus jx divided by 2. So have 1 by 2 e power j omega naught t plus 1 by 2 e power minus j omega naught t. So now from the previous discussion, you know that a constant, Fourier transforms into 2 pi a into delta of omega. So in place of a, I have 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 Fourier transforms into 2 pi, a is 1 by 2 delta of omega. So 2 gets cancelled. I have pi into delta of omega. So what I will do, applying the frequency shift property, instead of 1 by 2, whatever I have obtained is only Fourier transform of 1 by 2. But what I need is Fourier transform of 1 by 2 e power j omega naught t. So 1 by 2 e power j omega naught t Fourier transforms into pi delta of omega. So when you shift in time, that is frequency shift property, then what happens? Output will be shifted by minus omega naught. So multiplying by e power j omega naught is equivalent to shifting the output by minus omega naught. So plus omega naught translates to minus omega naught. We have proved the property previously. Similarly, sorry, this is minus actually 1 by 2 e power minus j omega naught t. Okay, minus e power minus j omega naught t Fourier transforms into pi delta of omega plus omega naught. Plus translates to minus and minus translates to plus. Once you do this one, I will use the linearity property. That is, x of t is nothing but half of e power j omega naught t plus e power minus j omega naught t. That Fourier transforms into x of t translates to x of omega. That is equal to, I will add these two, pi into delta of omega minus omega naught plus pi delta of omega plus omega naught. So what happens? You have two delta signals, one at omega naught plus omega naught here and another at omega naught here. So one at omega naught at this point and another at minus omega naught. So this are shown omega naught one value and minus omega naught another value with the amplitude of pi. So if you normalize a signal by dividing by pi, amplitude will become equal to 1. Now, what is theta of omega? So what is the angle? So entire quantity delta of omega and plus delta of omega, whatever you have, will become a real signal. Remember, cos is a real signal. Therefore, its angle will be 0. So, what, for example, e power j x, how do you write? Cos x plus j sin x. So, cos x is the real part of the signal. Sin x is the imaginary part of the signal. Therefore, for cos of x, what happens? It is plus omega naught and minus omega naught, hence a magnitude spectrum. Phase spectrum will be simply blank, it will be simply 0 only. Did you follow? Did you follow? Any doubt? Any doubt here? Now, I look into the Fourier transform of one of the another two signals. Take x of t is equal to sine of pi t in t power minus 2t u of t. So by using properties, we are going to follow this one. So what I will do is, I'll write sine of pi t is e power j pi t minus e power minus j pi t divided by 2j. Both of them will be multiplied by e power minus 2t u of t and e power minus 2t u of t. Okay. Once you do this one, you know that e power minus at u of t, this part e power minus at into u of t transforms into 1 by a plus j omega. This we had done in the previous discussion. So what happens? First find the Fourier transform of these two and let us write in the next part. So e power minus 2t u of t Fourier transforms into 1 by 2 plus j omega. So whenever you multiply any signal s of t with e power j beta t, that Fourier transforms into s of t used to Fourier transform into s of omega. So s of omega will be changed by omega minus beta. Same property we used in the previous case also. E power j beta t into s of t, Fourier transforms into s of omega minus beta. So what happens? 1 by 2j e power minus 2t e power j pi t into u of t Fourier transforms into 1 by 2j, that is multiplication by constant into 1 by 2 plus j omega was already there. Omega gets shifted by omega minus pi. If it is plus pi, then it will become minus pi here. If it is minus pi, then it will become plus pi. Once you do this one, same way, only difference between these two signals is plus, it is plus here and it is minus here. So this Fourier transforms into 1 by 2j into 1 by 2 plus j, omega minus pi gets replaced by omega plus pi. Any doubt here? Are you able to follow? Anybody? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Now what I will do? I will apply the linearity property. What the linearity property says? You simply add these two terms because all of them are constants only. Therefore, I have 1 by 2j into first quantity equal 2 plus j omega minus pi minus 2 plus j omega plus pi. There is no need to simplify this answer. Keep it as it is. Okay. Let us take another interesting problem. So how d by dt t e power minus 2t sine of t u of t. So t e power minus 2t you leave as it is. Sine of t you write it as e power jt minus e power minus jt divided by 2j u of t I retain. Procedure will once again remain unchanged. T e power minus at u of t Fourier transforms into 1 by a plus j omega whole square. How it happens is e power minus at u of t transforms into 1 by 1 plus a 1 by a plus j omega. Multiplication by t is nothing but taking the derivative. So it will become 1 by a plus j omega whole square. So directly this Fourier transforms into 1 by a plus j omega whole square. So how t e power minus 2t into u of t, this completely Fourier transforms into 1 by a gets replaced by 2. So how 1 by 2 plus j omega whole square. Now, what is left here? This entire thing, whatever I have t e power minus 2t into u of t, that gets multiplied by e power jt. So, how e power jt into s of t, already you know, Fourier transforms into s of omega minus 1 because t is multiplied by j and multiplied by 1. Beta is 1. E power j beta t, Fourier transforms into s of omega minus beta. Therefore, beta is 1 here. So I'll write e power jt, t e power minus 2t u of t Fourier transforms into 1 by 2 plus j omega changes to omega minus 1 whole square. Similarly, once you know this one, there is no change between first and second term except plus jt translates to minus j and you have 1 by 1 plus 2 plus j omega plus 1 whole square. So it is minus, it is translates to plus and plus translates to minus. So once you have done this one, use the linearity property and add them up. So how 1 by 2j into this one minus 1 by 2j into this one, Fourier transforms into, take 1 by 2j common, in the denominator you write 2 plus j into omega minus 1 whole square minus 1 by 2 plus j into omega plus 1 whole square. So finally what you had, look into the previous problem, whatever I had is t e power minus 2t sine of t u of t I already found, but there is one more derivative which you should not forget, but we have found out only the first term. So once you want the derivative property, what the derivative says, derivative of s of t Fourier transforms into j omega s of j omega. So whatever I have got till now here is s of j omega, entire property is s of j omega. This will get multiplied by j omega. So how j omega into this one completely, whatever I have. So j cancels. This is omega by 2 into this quantity, leave as it is. Okay. Now let's take the last problem. Find the Fourier transform of a signum function x of t is equal to sgn of t. Now, what is your sgn of t? Sgn of t is plus 1 when t is more than 0 and sgn of t is equal to minus 1 when t is less than 0. At t equal to 0, strictly speaking, it is 0, but what we generally believe is more than 0 is 1 and less than 0 is minus 1. Now, how do you write sgn of t? Look at the first equation very carefully. I'll write this as 2 into u of t. So when you write 2 into u of t, the signal will be from 0 to infinity because u of t will be from 0 to infinity. Minus 1 I will do. So from 0 to infinity, it is 2 minus 1, it is 1. Therefore, right side is satisfied. Now, u of t does not exist below 0. Therefore, what happens? So this 2 into u of t will generate 0 only. So 0 minus 1 will become minus 1. Therefore, you have sgn of t written in terms of u of t. Any doubt here? Any doubt? Are you able to follow? Any doubt till now?
No, sir.
Did you follow this step? Yes, gn of t is equal to 2 into u of t minus 1. Any doubt in this step?
No, sir.
Okay. Now what we'll do, I'll differentiate both sides with respect to t. Therefore, dx of t dt is equal to 2 into derivative of u of t. Derivative of u of t is equal to delta of t, because 0 to 1 there is an instantaneous change which we write it as t, only from 0 to 1. So since change is very fast, it becomes delta of t. When derivative of this one is 0, therefore I have 2 into delta of t. Now take the Fourier transform. When you take the Fourier transform, derivative translates to j omega into x of j omega. Okay, so if x of t translates to x of j omega, dx of t by dt translates to j omega x of j omega. This is equal to 2 into what is the derivative? What is the Fourier transform of delta of t? Delta of t is equal to 1. Therefore, I have j omega x of j omega is equal to 2. Therefore, x of j omega is equal to 2 by j omega. Now, what is the magnitude? Magnitude is obtained by neglecting the j side. Therefore, I have 2 by omega. Now, angle. Look here. I will write this one as minus 2j by omega. I'll take j minus upside minus 2j by omega. When omega is more than 0, the denominator is positive. What is the angle? It will become minus j. Minus j means minus pi by 2. Did you follow this step? Any doubt here you have? Anybody? Any doubt here? Did you follow the angle? Because this is a very important point you have to clearly write in the examination. Any doubt? Anybody? Did you understand? Meghana? Nikita? Any doubt? Did you follow the steps?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, when omega minus 2j by omega, when omega is more than 0, the answer is negative minus j. Therefore, angle will become minus pi by 2. Omega is more than or equal to 0. When minus 2j by omega, when omega is less than 0, omega will also be negative, minus 2j will also be negative. Therefore, angle will become positive. Therefore, it is plus pi by 2. Special care to the minus and plus. When it is more than 0, it is minus. When it is less than 0, it is plus. Therefore, the angle plot, angle of theta of j omega will become pi by 2 when omega is less than 0 and minus pi by 2 when omega is more than or equal to 0. Okay. So, this completes the discussion on continuous time Fourier transform. Whatever we are looked, continuous time Fourier transform, and we have seen the properties of continuous time Fourier transform, and we have looked at some problems on the properties of CTFT. Okay, so